Okay, folks, welcome to Sunday Night Stock Charts and Futures Live. And we have a bunch of people in here building up. Good evening, Franklin. I hope you had a great weekend as well, my friend. Nestor, Matt, hello. Pat, top of the evening to you. Denny, hello. Trader Isaac, WG Shocker, Tom, hello. Jedi, good to see you, my friend. Emilio, hello. All right, let's do this. Jason, hello. Matt, hello. All right. Cool. All right. So we are off and running here. We're going to start things off with a brief preview of the opening futures. I mean, it's early. We're seeing a spike up, which is always nice to see. But does it hold? We don't know where we're going to finish out. Way too early. We'll do a brief run through the futures as they open. And then we'll take a look at the headlines. Has anything changed? Do we have a deal? What economic data did come out last week and what is coming out this week? And by far, the most important topic is earnings for the coming week. We have regional bank ETFs. If I'm remembering correctly, IBM comes out, I believe, in the pre-market. We'll go over those in a while. And we'll also talk about Char Request. I have a few of them to go over for members. If we have time, I will take them from the audience as well. So let's get to it. Let's begin with the opening price action of the NASDAQ 100 / TRIP Qs. And we are up by about 1/3 of a percentage point. This is a wrong chart. This is a 15-minute chart. Let's go to a 4-hour chart, get that higher level view. There we go. That's much better. Now, with the Qs, we went short. We were short going into the week last week. We added aggressively early on in the week. We booked profits on our short position. We became overweight on that trade. The Qs popped back up. We leaned again into the short side on, I believe it was Friday. And it's not a big position as the prior one was. I want to hedge on this market. So we're popping up higher right here, right now, picking up a little bit of steam near the highs of the session. We'll come back. We do have plenty of long positions to offset short positions, so I really don't care which way we go right now. Let's take a look at the dollar. The dollar is down, no great shock. That should bode well for commodities, but I'll tell you, the daily chart of the dollar looks ominous. Meaning, I think that it could pop up higher. Let's take a look at gold. Yeah, gold is not reacting positively to the dollar. We are holding 1900. That's really all that you can expect right now. This is not a seasonally favorable period of time. However, we have never had an election like this. So, I'm going to have to say that I believe that there will be a rally immediately into the election. But right now, gold is under a bit of pressure. It's a hold. It looks as though what we did here last week is we began to build a W formation. Here's your left side of your W. Again, 4-hour chart, volatile. Pivot point, center of your W formation. Right side, higher low. Now we're pulling back. As long as we don't break down below this prior low at 1891, I think that we pop up higher. Odds favor bulls. Let's take a look at, let's go to silver. Let's stick with precious metals for a moment. And then we'll swing over to the other equity indexes, small caps, then S&P 500. Silver down a bit. just shy of 1/3 of a percentage point. Very similar to gold in that it appears as though we're putting in higher lows. Now what we're looking for is similar to what we put in over here. It was a breakout, then a retest. Now we're looking for a new breakout above resistance. Odds favor bulls. And I wouldn't be so matter of fact like that were it not for the election, which is just going to be absolutely insane. Taking a look at the VIX. VIX is down as it should be with the futures up on equities. Okay, not much going on here. 27 handle on the VIX. October expiration. Russell 2000. Attempting a breakout here on a 4-hour basis. I think the market's just sniffing out a deal again. Fading a little bit. But right here, if we close above 1640 on the Russell E-minis, we're going up. RSI, very nice. What we're looking for here is a breakout. We have a lower high on RSI. We're looking for a breakout. It's hooking up now, but it means zero until we break out to new higher highs. The S&P 500, that would help. S&P 500 up, spot 38% on the session at the highs of the session. Look what we did here on RSI. We broke out. Well, we met resistance here, pulled back, broke out. Now we're doing a retest of the breakout point. Now, one of two things can happen here. One, this could be a head and shoulders setup. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If we break back down below this low here, that's a breakdown. That's a confirmation breakdown, head and shoulders setup. Now, I think that we're probably, because we're putting in higher lows, I think that we're breaking out here. I think we're going to break out to higher highs. But we still have to get through this resistance. We'll see what happens. A lot can happen between now and tomorrow morning. But that's my hunch. And I'll tell you why in a moment. I already took a look at the news, and I'll share the headline with you. There's no deal as of yet, but Nancy Pelosi did one of her obscure things yet again, and she put a deadline of Tuesday on having a deal. I don't know what that means, to be honest with you, but the Trump administration's coming out talking $2 billion. I don't know how she turns it down. $2 billion plus. I think he's going to take the deal. So I think we will have a deal. It's probably going to be a much fatter deal than what Trump wanted to have, but it's going to be enough to provide liquidity to the markets, sending it up higher. But, I mean, it takes more and more of this heroin to get this market moved up higher for less and less a period of time. I mean, this is absolute and utter insanity. But it's our reality. Our poor kids. Nat gas dropping. Wow, big drop. Big drop on nat gas, 4.5%. Let's check out oil. Light sweet crude. Light sweet fighting back, flat on the session. We had broken down out of this wedge formation several times. Now we're looking for a breakout above, let's call it 41.50 the barrel. Right now we're at 41.12. What was the high last week? 41.47. So 41.50. If we break above that mark, that's a new higher high after putting in a series of higher lows. Good stuff. Quick peek at food prices. They're ripping. Corn is off of its highs. It was higher. But I'll tell you, ag is in fuego. Wheat, look at this. Wheat's going to take off. Take a look at it on a weekly basis. But Jay Powell says there's no inflation. Don't worry. Look at this. This is nuts. All right, let's take a look at the headlines. So here's what I was mentioning earlier. I'm not going to spend much time here reading through this. You have until Tuesday. Pelosi issues ultimatum over funds relief. I don't see how either side's going to pass up a deal. Not if it has a 2 in front of it. A 2 trillion mark. For Pelosi anyway. And I think Trump is going to go up that high. I read a blurb in here that he was willing to. So we'll see. Let's see if anything else fresh came out. No, I'll tell you this. I can't even say the name right now. But this person here, because I had one of my videos pulled down, was a live stream no less, on going back to April. It was pulled down. I got a notice. First time in 10 years that ever happened to me. So I must have said something political, and they pulled it down. So I got to be careful what I say here. So not much in terms of headlines. Data. Last week, the jobless claims were very, very bad. And that's what fueled a rally in the market. Let's take a look at retail sales. They came in a lot better than what was expected. Ex-autos, I mean, they were ripping higher. Consumer sentiment, higher. Coming up this coming week, housing starts, building permits. Building permits are a forward-looking indicator for housing. So while they don't need to execute on breaking ground on those permits, it's still a good forward-looking indicator. So I'll be watching building permits. Initial jobless claims out on Thursday, as they are every week. Friday, manufacturing PMI, that's a purchasing managers index. And you have the services PMI. So some economic data this week, not a ton of it. Earnings will overshadow everything. This is regional bank week. Last week was money center bank week. This week is going to be regional bank week. You do have some tech coming out, IBM, Logitech. You also have some names in the materials sector, Steel Dynamics. These are coming out tomorrow. Netflix on Tuesday. Texas Instruments, that'll be a semi-play. Lockheed Martin. Defense looking good. It was the best stock chart this week. I went over it with members. Snap reports. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of these. So a big, big week for earnings, folks. Expect volatility. Now, the chart of the week that we need to keep an eye on, especially with regional banks reporting, is this one. Weekly chart, 10-year yield. Remember that we broke out the week before last. What did we do last week? We pulled back and we retested the breakout point of back here, I should say. Let me rephrase that. We filled the gap that opened up. Let's say there was support at spot 6.3. In reality, support is at, that's inaccurate, the high. Support filled last week is spot 7.2. Sorry about that. The real gap to be filled is at spot 7.0. We don't necessarily have to get there, but this is an ominous chart. Why does it matter? It matters because if you see yields begin to break out, you're going to see the banks take off. Banks are going to go up higher. You'll see materials take off. Why? Presumption of economic growth. Look no further than the Dow transports. Weekly chart. We pulled back on the week last week, but we put in new all-time highs. What's going on? I also want to keep an eye on the railroads. Not the railroads, sorry. Airlines. Airlines are basing, holding the 20-period moving average on a weekly time frame, daily chart. I like LOVE, L-U-V. I like L-O-V-E too. But it looks as though we're poised here for a probable pop-up higher on the airlines. If not next week, probably the next. Look at the Stokes here flattening out. They're probably going to hook up higher. Take a look at RSI. Pulling back, holding 50. Very attractive. Except all we need right now is confirmation of what the indicators are telling us, and that is a breakout. Let's take some chart requests. Let's first take a look at comments. Corey, it's been a while. How you doing, buddy? OG1 Kenobi. Every time I read your name, I laugh. Love it. Beautiful fall colors in Louisville, I bet. I got to get down there sometime. I've been to Tennessee, not to Kentucky. Paul, how you doing, brother? Ben, hello? Tomorrow is Black Monday. Is that true? Really? Pat, what did I say? Were you correcting me? Okay. Let's take some chart requests. Let's do this. And then before I sign off, I want to go to the futures again. And let's bring up LAC. Lithium Americas. Oh, and by the way, I need to do this. These are from by the friends over at TrendSpider, the next generation of automated technical analysis. So we'll be using automated trend lines for this one. Let's bring up the monthly charts. I don't know why I'm on a 30-minute time frame. Oh boy. I would be a bit nervous about being involved with this stock right now because we blew right through the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. And I just got kicked off of TrendSpider. This is a problem here. This is a major problem. We have RSI about 80 on a monthly time frame. So far this month, we have a bearish reversal bar. Weekly chart. We broke down below this VWAP line here, connecting the prior lows. So we have a weekly breakdown. I think we're going lower. Let's check the daily chart. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate that. Dan, hi, Bob. Wife sends compliments on your beard. Thank you very much. Denny, Bitcoin, you got it. Daily chart. All right. So we have some issues going on here. You know, we broke out, which is great. Back here. However, on Friday, we failed to hold it and we broke back down. This is a not a good thing. We undercut the breakout point. I would not be a buyer here. I think there's a very good chance that we're going lower. Lower highs and lower lows on the RSI. I would avoid. I wouldn't short it, but I would avoid. ONEM. Monthly time frame. Not enough data here. Weekly time frame. Where's my volume by price? There we go. Okay, so we have a ton of resistance above. I wouldn't be a buyer here. Let's give this some room. I wouldn't be a buyer until we hit 80. Is that an 8 or a 3? These guys got to do better jobs with this font. Let's call it 31.45. We got to close above that mark before you can think about getting long here. You'd be buying right into a resistance level. Daily chart. Consolidation. You know, the trend is up. I think that it is going to break out, but you really need to wait for the breakout or a pullback to support at around, you know, this will do here. That's what I would do. Wait for the breakout or scratch the itch on a pullback. I wouldn't buy right here, right now. Long entry on close. So we'll keep it active for the week. And we're good to go. KZR. All right. VRTX. See, oh, yes, please. Thanks, Denny. Smash that like button if you would, please. Thank you. Holding 5,000 shares OPTT. I did a video about that. I think it was last week or the week before. KZR. All right. This is one that is flirting with a potential major breakout. It has broken out. The problem with KZR is that you have a big fat volume shelf. You can see they tried to take it out above that mark several weeks ago, but they failed in doing so. So now what I would do with this one, I would create an alert right here, because a close above $6.21, that would be a breakout above significant resistance. We'll keep it active. This one here is interesting. For a couple of weeks, waiting for that breakout. Daily chart, well, actually weekly chart. It's going in the right direction. It's making moves. I mean, RSI broke out. Price is broken out, but again, you're dealing with this volume shelf where we have an alert set. Daily time frame. We broke out on Friday. Making progress here. I think it's going higher. There's where our alert is set up here. You know, if they pull it back and they retest this time frame or the support level, you know, you wanted to scratch the itch. Throw on a couple of shares. So now we have our alerts set. Set it and forget it. Let the computer do the work for us. All right, let's take some requests. Corey, SMH. We have a monthly breakout. This is the semiconductor ETF. RSI confirming no negative divergence. Weekly view. We broke out the week prior, but faded last week. We held the breakout point. Watch for a new weekly low. We make a new weekly low, I would avoid. Daily chart. A bit of a fade. We put in a new high versus Thursday, but we faded on Friday, closing down. I like the support level here. 186, 186.50. Good support there if you want to scratch the itch. Team. Monthly chart. Wow. Nice breakout. Very nice breakout on a monthly time frame. RSI confirming. No breakout yet on RSI. So I shouldn't say confirming. It's hooking up. It hasn't broken out yet. Weekly chart. So on a weekly chart, now this is the value of having the automated trend lines. You click the button and pop. You can see that we tapped resistance last week and we backed off. We also saw resistance hit at the upper band of the Bollingers. So this is one where we would like to see a bit of a pullback so that we're not buying it into resistance. You know, if it doesn't go blasting off higher here, I think a good support level would be $200.50. And we'll keep it active for the week. What else we have? Bitcoin. I'll go to Bitcoin when I go back to the futures. Let me write it down. VRTX. Oofa. It's damaged goods. You know, it's a pharma name, and I don't short pharma, but it's damaged goods. I wouldn't be a buyer here. You know, it's setting up nicely as a consolidation. They even tried to take it up, but man, I don't know if there was news or what. It got hammered. RSI, lower highs, lower lows. You know, I'm just going to jump to the daily chart because you know you're leaning into the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. Might you get a pop higher? Yeah, you probably will, but they're probably going to roll it back over again after a day or two. So it's not one that I would look to buy. I mean, it's going in the wrong direction. So we don't want to hope when we should fear, and I'd be fearful about buying VRTX. AMD. Chuck, I see your DraftKings. I want to get that. Let's go to a monthly chart. Holding firm inside month. No new high, no new low. Keep an eye on monthly RSI. Potential head and shoulders setup. Weekly chart. A lot of topping action up here. I wouldn't be a buyer of AMD until we broke out above last week's resistance or we pulled back to this lower band of support. Daily chart. Very tight formation here. I think that we're probably breaking out. I think odds you're still in an uptrend. The odds you have to give to bulls, so in all probability, we're going to break out. However, monthly chart a bit concerning, all that topping action, a little bit of resistance on a weekly basis. So if we begin to break here, avoid like the plague. So just be careful. Remember the semis reversed last week as well, or at least on Friday. NVDA, it's on the fade here. Weekly time frame, they broke it out. They broke it out the week before last. Retest last week. I have to give odds to bulls. I think that we're probably going up higher. I would be a buyer where we closed last week with a stop loss right below the lows of the week. Simple trade. Low risk, high reward if you get the follow through. Oh, you know what? That's NVR. It's the wrong chart. Sorry. NVDA. That was NVR, for anybody interested. All right. Here's the video. Attempted breakout last week. It was rejected. We have an expired alert here. I'm going to renew this alert. I would rather buy it, because NVIDIA is extended. I would rather buy it at support. Okay, so NVIDIA looking good. Hopefully on a pullback. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see a breakout. OPTT, Ocean Power Technology. So I did a video on this one, some analysis about 2 weeks ago, and I warned that it was, it was extended on a weekly time frame above its third standard deviation Bollinger Band. I warned of a short-term pullback. We got it last week. Now, drilling down to a daily chart, because I like it longer term. I would love to see a breakout here. I have an alert set. It actually fired off, but it was rejected. And that's why I didn't enter the trade. So my alert fired off. It didn't close above resistance. Okay, so we're set. Good to go here. OPTT, I think it's going to go up higher. I think the environment is right for OPTT. If you see a Biden administration, these names are going to do very, very well. So OPTT looking good. Hertz, come on, Matt, you're killing me. You're killing me. Hertz. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. For those not familiar, they're bankrupt. You know, I wouldn't touch it. I mean, it's got no value. It's got value to certain pumpers, but you know, I couldn't. I don't even want to entertain talking about the stock. It's got too much risk. I wouldn't put a penny into it. BAC Money Center Bank. I like the money center banks and the regional banks if yields move up higher. Absent that, I don't have any use for them. In a very tight triangle formation on a monthly time frame, no breakout yet. I think you could buy it here. Use a stop loss on a break below support at around, what was the low of last month? $22.95. You close down below that mark. We're coming all the way back down here to the lows of March. Weekly time frame. Very tight consolidation. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see ultimately a breakout. But again, yields need to be breaking out for the banks to do well because of their net interest margins, or NIM. Daily chart. This looks pretty good. I mean, here was earnings. They got clobbered on earnings. They bounced back to recapture support. The banks have been doing okay of late, especially on Friday. They outperformed the major averages. So I'd have to say odds favor bulls right now. The caveat being yields need to move up higher. PRTS. I went over PRTS yesterday. I'm just going to talk about the weekly chart. I like it, but only under certain criteria. We, at least not on this chart per se, you don't see a breakout here. But if you go over to weekly chart, we broke out last week. What I'm looking for is a retest of the breakout point. That's at around $11 per share. I don't like these Stokes. Stokes down below 20 or 50, I should say, rallies tend to fade. Now, a daily chart implies that we saw some weakness on Friday, and this is in the face of used car prices ripping through the ceiling. So I think longer term, this is going to do very, very well. The problem is short term and just doing some backing and filling. You know, if you're a long-term holder, I would hold it, but just expect some backing and filling here. It's probably not going to be a straight shot higher. Again, I want to see a pullback and a retest of support. I'd be a buyer. Again, we booked profits on this one last week. I'm looking to re-enter. So more to come on PRTS. Pfizer. Come on, Bob. Pfizer, weekly chart looking very, very good. So we have a higher low. And we broke out. Nice triangle formation. I think that we may pull back, see a bit of a retracement this coming week. 87.58 looks good. Was that 37? For whatever reason, and I apologize for this, the threes on the chart look like eights to me. So that's why I keep making that mistake. My apologies. So we're looking for a retracement back down to 37.58 at a bare minimum. Ideally, though, down to Jesus Christ. This support level here. So I like Pfizer on the breakout daily chart. Beautiful. We're extended on the 3D Bollinger Band, folks. Expect that pullback. It's probably going to happen. We closed out the day on Friday above the 3D Bollinger Band. Expect a retracement. So I like Pfizer longer term. Wait for a pullback. That's going to be your opportunity to enter. All right. Oh, Matt, you sure it hurts? All right, good for you. Now I understand. Okay, I was surprised. Okay, now I understand. All right, net list. It's a good looking chart. We have a breakout on the month. This is rock solid support down here. Rock solid. Oh, this is a penny stock at around 60 cents a share. Very strong support. And we broke out. Weekly chart. A rejection at resistance on the week. So that's kind of bearish, very short term, not long term. Good retracement last week. You know, if you're bullish on the stock, I think it's a buy now. Just if we break down below support, down below that 67 cent mark, you want to be careful and think about exiting. But it's interesting. I think we're going to hold the support level, consolidate, then break out higher. So I like it. And what's really influencing is not the daily chart. It's the monthly chart. This is real sweet. Higher lows. Nice triangle formation. Now we're breaking out. Gotta like it. All right. GRWG. Arun is Bob is the man. Thank you. All right. Grow Generation Wheat stock. Monthly chart, Very extended. Oh, I went over this one before. My alert expired. I was looking for a breakout above 1762. Weekly chart. All right, so the weekly chart kind of gives me a little bit of pause. Let's go back to the monthly really quick. So I think the reason why we saw poor weekly price action is because on the monthly chart, we became a little bit extended relative to the third deviation Bollinger Band. Plus, we had resistance up here. So I'm trying to understand the technicals. So they retraced down to support, and it bounced. But we gave up this breakout point, which is a concern to me. Our alert is set. Save it. I think this is at 1789. There's got to be a way to change these fonts. No. So I like it. I'd be just careful here, though. I don't see a reason to go chasing it. It gave up support last week after breaking out. That's a breakout point failure, and automatically I break out in hives when I see that. So we broke down here, rallied back, rejected, rallied back again, rejected. It's got to show strength or pull back to support, one of the two. I would not be a buyer at where we closed on Friday. Show discipline, wait for the breakout, or wait for a pullback to support, one of the two. Or a mixture of both, ideally. On a monthly time frame, the question is, it seems to be holding support, yes. On a monthly time frame, yes, but on a shorter duration time frame, it bounced off of this support level here in purple. But it had given up this support level. Remember, we broke out the week prior, and we gave up that breakout point. That's a bull trap, technically. So that worries me. And while I'm not betting on a crash or horrible things to happen here, I just don't think that. I think you need to be disciplined and time your buy. And if we happen to retrace back down to the support level here, I'd be a buyer. If we break out and we close above resistance, I would nibble. I would open up a position. I'd be more aggressive were we to break out above this resistance level here. The high of the day on Friday was 1783. We close with 1790. I would add or buy, but I would add more on a breakout above these prior highs because you have the resistance in the rearview mirror rather than looking at them and having to do battle with them. That's far more preferable way for me to trade. NLST. Oh, Nautilus Group. This was a heck of a COVID play. The trend is still up. But a bearish reversal bar on Friday. So we broke out on Thursday, pulled back on Friday. We held the breakout point. So we need to hold the lows of Friday. If we break to a new daily low and we close down below, what is this? 23.41. That's a problem. That's a serious problem. That would be a breakout point failure or a bull trap. So be careful. All right, let's go back to the futures action. Let's see how we're closing out. The hour, the dollar, bouncing back here a little bit, but still down. Gold came back a little bit, still holding 1900. It's all that matters. Russell small caps. Very close to a breakout here. Russell 100. Put on more strength since we last looked at it. Now we're up over a half percentage point, near the highs of this session. Bonds. Bonds are pulling back. That means that yields are moving up higher. Good for the banks tomorrow. A lot of regional banks coming out. The S&P 500. Up near the session highs. So they're holding gains. All right. With that, folks, I'm going to say everybody have a great night. Thanks for joining in. Have a profitable trading week. And click the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. And TrendSpider 35% discount code down below. Have a great week and a pleasant night. And thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.